Well, hello. This is podcast number 13. Let me bring it back a little bit. I'm here by myself. This isn't another twin cast. I just thought I'd sit down, try and record something and see how it goes. It has been over a month since my last solo podcast, and I think that's because, first of all, I really got into the routine of doing the twin podcast with Tom every single week, and hopefully this Wednesday we will still have another one, but it means we're going to have to record it in the morning because recently Tom has got a new job at one of the coronavirus testing stations, so he works most days. I think he works 10 days on and then 2 days off, and his next 2 days off are this coming Friday and Saturday, I think. So that means before the Wednesday, he doesn't have another day off. So we're going to have to do it in the morning at some point, which might mean I have to change up my routine a little bit because for the most part, throughout this quarantine, I've been running every single day. This week has been the least I've run. I took yesterday off, Saturday, at the time recording. Not sure when this goes up. Probably Sunday, probably today. And I also took the Monday off. So I ran 14 miles on the Tuesday, I think, to kind of make up for the fact I didn't run on the Monday. And then the 6 to 7 miles Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then 7 miles this morning on Sunday. So I'm getting pretty decent mileage. So that's all good. I'm also wearing almost like a smart casual shirt. Haven't worn this in a really long time. I never really wore it at all. I bought it about a year ago. I think for when I went to Tenerife, it was kind of like a smart casual shirt. But I was in a completely different place back then. Obviously, this shirt was a lot tighter back then because in the last year, I've lost about 4 to 5 stone, which is pretty damn crazy. But I thought to myself, let's just sit down and record a solo podcast because I've been thinking more and more about recording videos for this channel and not just podcasts. But then it's also difficult because then part of me was thinking, what if I sort of gave this channel a really good proper go? But then for a second I thought, if a channel is trying to go viral or something like that, they make specific styles of content that you intend to use to make you like go viral, your own specific style. And having the weekly twin podcast in and amongst that wouldn't help, in my opinion. From my experience on YouTube, it's much easier to grow if everyone that comes to your channel at any time is coming to your channel for the same thing. If they stumble across it and they see something they like, they can subscribe because they can expect the same thing going forward. If I make some kind of different video and people then saw that I was uploading weekly podcasts with my twin brother, both he and me, they don't really care about, then they might be a bit more turned off. They might not watch videos. YouTube doesn't like that. YouTube likes consistent watch time, repeat watches from people coming back to your new uploads. They like all that sort of stuff. So the podcast format isn't really the best idea if I want to give this channel a proper try. I still am yet to get to that weight loss video because obviously it's been a little while since I really went on the main weight loss journey. I've been kind of maintaining my weight for the last couple of months. My original goal weight was 12 stone or 168 pounds, and I'm about 4 pounds lighter than that now, and my lightest weight was about 11 stone 1 pound. So I've been sort of fluctuating 7 or 8 pounds up and down. At the moment I'm on an up phase because I've eaten quite a lot of food this week, but I've been sort of fluctuating up and down, still lower than my original goal weight, which is pretty cool. So I wouldn't mind taking this camera and making a really good video about that, about my weight loss story, some tips and tricks that I have, because I've not just gone on a weight loss bender and lost it just once after getting a bit chubby over a summer and just lost it one time. I know so much about weight loss. So the amount that you can only come to know through not only years of trial and error, but throughout those years actively going out of your way to learn things. I cannot explain how many times I've got into my sort of weight loss journey and lifestyle, and you might be thinking, well, if you know so much about it and you're so good at it, why is it even necessary to keep doing it over and over and over again? And in fairness, this last big gain over the bulk period of 2019 and this main loss is kind of like the only real serious one that I've had to do, because back in September, that was the heaviest I'd been by quite an amount, and now I'm the leanest I've ever been, and it's been that way for a couple of months. I feel like I finally got it sorted out, and the reason I go up and down, it's not that I don't know that what I'm doing to my body is bad for it, it's that I just didn't care enough to make the changes that I know I needed to make, if that makes sense. So I'm aware if I binge eat and eat 5,000, maybe 10,000 calories in a day, I know that's not going to be good for me. I just didn't care enough about myself to stop me from doing that, if that makes sense. But when it comes to knowledge and just the simple law of thermodynamics with your body and how it works, certain types of hormones even that can actually make it more difficult, not for you to lose weight, because at the end of the day, losing weight is about a calorie deficit, but more difficult to attain the calorie deficit based on different hormones that are telling you to eat. And that's kind of the way I see it. And I've learned so much stuff about that. So I love the idea of sitting down and doing maybe part of the video explaining my journey, how I got to where I got and the dark place that I was in, and how I sort of used that situation to propel me into the situation that I'm at now. And trust me, it does wonders, absolute wonders for your confidence. I mean, sometimes I look at myself and think, I'm like a 6 out of 10. That's my sort of joke. I say I'm a 6 out of 10 because, first of all, I feel like personality, charisma, humor most definitely, because when you're a fat kid in year 8 and 9, 12, 13 years old, you got to get by on humor, otherwise you don't get by at all. So I feel like I've developed that sort of part of my personality, almost like over the top, because I had to make up for what I lacked in other areas to particularly attract the females, because that was my goal as a 12, 13-year-old kid. But as well as that, YouTube, my job, my career has given me an immense charisma that allows me to speak either in public or in front of a camera or to others in a way that some people find a little bit difficult to do purely because they haven't had the practice. I was no pro to begin with, but it's been nearly 10 years of me doing this, hence I'm actually pretty decent at it. So I do self-deprecate quite a lot, basically what I'm saying. I do joke. Sometimes I do look at myself in the mirror and I think, man, you look like such a creature. But I know I'm not. And I know, not to sound big-headed, but I have just slated myself for a couple minutes. I know that I'm a decent-looking guy, but beyond that, I know I'm a good guy. I don't want to go into the whole nice guys finish last simp debate, but I know I'm intelligent. I know I'm hardworking. I know that for a fact. Somewhat successful, I guess, and just happy with myself. And it does come across, and weight loss is a huge part of that. I cannot express how amazing it feels to feel confident in your clothing. If the clothes are a bit tight, but you don't mind that because it shows off the body that you're proud of, it's so much easier than if you see, or if you know somebody's overweight, you might see that they've sort of developed the subconscious habit of pulling their clothes. Every time I'd sit down, I'd stand up, sit down, and do the old pull and make sure that my clothes weren't clinging onto my body. And that's just a subconscious thing that I still sometimes do to this day, but not for the reasons that I used to. I used to think I can't have these clothes hugging my body because it shows the mess that I've created and allowed myself to get to. Whereas now, particularly on my chest, I don't know if it's genetics, but I've got really good shoulders and chest. I like a t-shirt that hugs that. I mean, yeah, I'm wearing this. This is actually a size extra large, hence why it's quite loose. But I wanted a white shirt today because it's been quite hot lately, and I would like to remain cool. But I like it when clothes hug my body because it kind of accentuates the effort that I put in. I feel like I'm just a decent, healthy human being, because even though I have episodes where I eat an awful lot, yesterday being one of them for sure, I know that, first of all, that's not going to totally ruin my progress. In the same way you can't lose a ton of weight overnight, you can't really gain a lot overnight either. I feel like if it was my life goal or my day goal, for instance, to put on as much weight as I possibly could, disregarding water weight, where your body holds on to a lot more water, actual fat, maybe I could put on 3 pounds in a day of actual fat. And typically the accepted rule is that 1 pound of fat equals roughly 3,500 calories. So that would be a surplus of 10,500 calories. So that would be 3 pounds of fat. And just by being, I burn about 2,000 calories a day. So I'd have to eat nearly 13,000 calories to gain that amount. And that's a lot of calories, because I've had some big binge days. And I feel like a proper big binge day for me is like 6,000 to 8,000 calories. And because I still calorie count even when I'm having a bad day, because I can't help it anymore. I know what calories are in food. So, and I love maths. Mental maths, again, bigging myself up here, but anyone that knows me can attest to this. I don't know anyone, and challenge me, I don't know anyone whose mental maths is as quick and as strong as mine. And that's just a fact. It sounds so big-headed, but then again, if I want to big myself up, if it's true, then by all means go for it. And even if it's I don't know, self-centered to be like, I'm amazing. I think the world needs some more of that, because I feel like every single person genuinely does have aspects of themselves that are just absolutely awesome. Like you watching this, just there's something that you're great at. And you know it, but we've been conditioned in this society to almost downplay ourselves. You're freaking awesome. You're amazing. So I just feel like, and I do this too, particularly on the internet, especially because I have so many people that want me to fail. I have people that leave hate comments. I just figured, let's just keep it on the DL. Let's just not try and come across as braggy. When in actual fact, I feel like everyone, to an extent, has something about them that they can be wickedly proud of, whether it's an innate sense of something that they're just naturally good at and naturally gifted at, or something that they've worked super, super hard to achieve. I think you should be proud of yourself. I think, if you take a minute to step back, or you pause this podcast and you think to myself, what am I proud of myself for today? What am I good at? What reasons do I have to be happy? You'd be genuinely surprised at how many things you could find, even at such a dark time like this. And I feel like positive affirmation is absolutely huge, because like I said yesterday, I went on a big binge. I didn't go on the run because I just decided not to, because you are supposed to take rest days, but I could run 2 weeks every single day and not take one and not need one. So I didn't need one yesterday, but I thought to myself, I have run about 40 miles in the last 4 days, 5 days. Let's take a rest day. Even though I didn't need one, I sort of allowed myself one. And I felt awful. My hair looks terrible because it's long. I haven't had it cut since, believe it or not, actually November. So I can't really blame the quarantine for that. But I wasn't expecting to go into quarantine in March, all right? Because back in November, I got my hair cut as short as it's ever been. I had a skin fade. So that meant finally the top could grow out without the back being super long. But that also meant I didn't need a haircut for a long, long time. It looked decent right up until March, April. It's really only been this last month where it's getting out of control and I don't know what to do with it. I've experimented both ways. There's some kind of product in here now, but it is massively long. And going back to yesterday after the binge and not exercising, I didn't really feel great. I had the long hair. I had a beard that I didn't like the look of. My fingernails weren't, trimmed. I never let my fingernails grow out really, really long, but they weren't cut nicely. And the way I kind of do it, it's a bit weird, but I do this sometimes. I almost like the refreshed me feeling, and that's essentially what I'm feeling today, because I kind of allowed me to get to a state where I was like, I don't really like the way I look in multiple different ways, so I could fix it all in one morning. So I went for a run this morning, and then when I got back, gave myself a little, I guess you'd call it manicure, just a bit of self-care, shaved, washed my hair, did all that stuff. And now I truly feel like a new person. And I just feel like if every day you can give yourself that positive affirmation, you can look at yourself in the mirror and say the things that you're grateful for. That's another thing this morning. I filled up this water bottle, and every single time I do it and I fill up the water bottle, because it takes quite a while to fill this up because it's a litre, so there's at least 5 seconds of the water going up and up and up in the bottle. I'm not trying to say this to sound like a really cool person or whatever, but I genuinely think every single time I fill up that water bottle, because what else do I have to think about when it's taken so long? I think to myself, how cool is it that I've actually just got access to water? And I had a sip once I filled this up and then filled it straight back up. And I thought, it's amazing that I actually have access to water and I can actually do that whenever I want. And there's people that don't have that. And it is just being thankful for little things. It just helps your mindset so much, because we all know it. You have that one friend, or if you don't have that friend, it's probably you in your own life. If you're going through a bit of a down phase where you're just negative all the time and you can't help it. And I'm not saying you're mentally weak if you're negative all the time, but it drags you down. And if you're negative towards yourself, you're going to feel bad. And if there's that one toxic friend in your life that for whatever reason you keep them around, they're a laugh, they've been good to you in the past, but maybe now they don't serve you. It sounds selfish, but at the end of the day, you got to look after you. If they don't serve you, but you keep them around for different reasons, they will drag you down. And that's what I'm grateful for. For everyone that's in my life, my family, my friends, everyone. I like to think, it sounds a little selfish in some way, but everyone that I talk to, everyone I associate myself with, adds something to my life. And even if I don't talk to them for 6 months and then I meet up with them again, it's great, because you want people around you that are going to positively influence your life. And if you've got someone being negative all the time, I strongly recommend you take a look at it and decide if that situation is serving you anymore, because it's very, very important to be in a positive mindset as much as you can. That's not to say don't cry. I actively encourage crying. And in fact, if for whatever reason, and this quarantine has really accentuated that, if I'm feeling sad within myself and I can just feel low, and sometimes you do just feel low, I will go to my room and put on the sad songs and try and get the emotions out. And if the song plays and then maybe a high note or like something in the song just hits different, you know that feeling, and then it gets to the equivalent of boiling point, it just overflows, that's when the emotion comes out. And tell you what, when you've had a good cry and you've got it out and you've got that mental clarity, and often crying also clears up your sinuses as well once you've cleared yourself up, you do feel better. There's just a weight that's lifted. And I think it's just about putting yourself in the best position to be in a positive mindset, but allowing and acknowledging some of those negative feelings so that they don't rule your life. You know, acknowledge that they're there. What's going on? How you doing, sadness? All right, we're going to chill for a little bit. Let's have half an hour, do the dance, and then on your way. Because I'm in a good mood. You can be in a good mood and be sad and be emotional, I think. And speaking of yesterday, because yesterday was just crazy apparently, we were playing cards, my family and I, something we've been doing a lot during quarantine. We're currently at the total of 32 games, 7 wins for my mum, dad and Tom, and 11 for me, so that's 32. And yesterday I almost clocked out. It was so weird. A split second, the only way I could describe it is if you have an on and off switch on your body, someone just went, you know that flip the switch trend on TikTok? Someone just flipped my switch for a second and I just went, ooh, and then I came back. And I fully thought for a random second I was going to faint. And then just out of nowhere, I'm fine. But yeah, that was strange. So I've been thinking a lot lately, really, about this channel. Do I keep the podcast going and try and make these other videos just actually do something? Because although I work a lot for my main channel, there are some moments, again, particularly yesterday, where I haven't got any work I have to do. And I do nothing. And I know a lot of people are quite content with doing nothing for a day. I'm really, really not. It's why I'm filming this. This could be a nothing day. I've worked for an hour and it's a Sunday and I usually work Monday to Friday. So an hour is enough to do the little bits and bobs I needed to do. But I'm doing this because I just can't do nothing. I'm so bad at it. And maybe I should just suck it up, keep it up with my main channel and do these other videos on this channel as well as the podcast. But then I'm thinking, if I want to take this channel seriously and make these really cool videos like the weight loss video, or I was going to make a video addressing all of the Daz Black fans that continuously comment on my videos on this channel, because if you didn't know, a few years ago Daz Black asked his fans to roast him in a diss track, and because a lot of his fans are younger, a lot of the diss tracks sucked. And he reacted to all of the diss tracks from his fans, and mine was saved at the end of the video. And it was the one diss track out of the ones his fans made that he actually liked, because in fairness, it was pretty good, because I was a fan of Daz Black, so I was able to include a lot of references that only a fan would know, which made it more enjoyable for him and the fans. It was better produced. It was a better video, just because I'm a bit older and I know what I'm doing. And people that watch him react to his fans roasting him and see me, half the people come over and say, yo, that was sick. They understand the whole reference because Daz asked for it. I'm a fan, quite clearly. And then other people come over and say, you're the worst. And they're battering me on behalf of Daz Black, despite his comments on my videos saying how good it was. And me reacting to Daz Black reacting to me is the most popular video on this channel and the only video on this channel to ever reach 100,000 views. So I wanted to make a joke video, kind of baiting people in, saying like addressing the haters or the fans of Daz Black, just to really reel them in. But I don't know, there's multiple different videos I'd like to make, different styles I'd like to try, whether that's commentary style or anything like that. There's new video ideas and series I'm trying over on my main channel. There's a new format of video going up on the 20th of May. This will be up before that. So I'm trying different things and I think I'm in a good mindset. And yeah, I think if there's one thing I'd urge you to take away from this, I'll say two things. Listen to your body, listen to your emotions, but treat yourself well and know that you're awesome. Truly, you know, give yourself the right fuel, eat good food, get enough sleep, and just be happy. Take some time in the moment. This is the most free time the majority of you will ever have, so use it to better yourself and feel good. But I'm not going to drag out this podcast any longer. It was a lot of fun. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. I'll read them all, of course. Subscribe. And if we get it all done, Tom and I will be back with another episode this Wednesday.